a no-knead green chili and cheddar artisan bread that is absolutely gorgeous and only requires a handful of ingredients. Sally that girl in the kitchen. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sally that girl in the kitchen. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to make a green chili and cheddar no-knead artisan bread. Yes, a no-knead artisan bread with green chili and cheddar cheese that is absolutely gorgeous. So I was inspired to make this bread because my eldest son loves a green chili and cheese bagel, and I thought, I can turn that into a gorgeous artisan bread. And I chose sharp cheddar because of its high fat content, because of its melting point, and because of its moisture content. Because if you've ever watched any of my no-knead artisan breads before, such as my Asiago no-knead artisan bread, you'll notice that in that bread, the chunks of Asiago kind of stay whole as you bake the bread. But in this particular bread, that cheddar melts and creates these pockets inside the bread that makes the bread look like almost a sourdough bread. It's got gorgeous holes running throughout, but still it's infused with that delicious flavor of sharp cheddar and of course those mild green chilies. This is not spicy, but it is super flavorful. So I am super excited to teach you how to make this. So let's not wait another second and let's get started. For today's recipe, you will need 3 cups of bread flour plus some more for dusting, a half a teaspoon of active dry yeast, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 6 ounces of sharp yellow cheddar cheese that you'll purchase in block form, 1.5 cups of lukewarm water, 2 slices of extra sharp yellow cheddar cheese, and 7 ounces of canned mild chopped green chili. You want this drained and you're going to separate it into 2 portions, 6.5 ounces and a half an ounce. You will also need a dough whisk or a serving fork, a tablespoon, a long thin knife, a cutting board and a chef's knife, a lame or a sharp knife for scoring your dough, a can opener, some wet measuring cups, some dry measuring cups, some measuring spoons, a cooling rack, and a large bowl with a cover, or you can use plastic wrap instead. And I'm going to be using a silicone sling to remove and place my bread into the hot Dutch oven, but you can use parchment paper if you don't have one of those. And you'll need some oven mitts and a Dutch oven with a lid or a heavy pot with a lid. It can be a Latin style caldero. Just make sure that whatever pot you're going to be using, it has a lid and it has a knob that can also withstand high heat as this bread bakes hot. So the first thing you're going to want to do is prepare your sharp yellow cheddar cheese. So this block has 8 ounces. I'm cutting off about 2 ounces to leave me with 6 ounces. And then I'm going to take those 6 ounces and I'm going to cut them into small cubes. And you want those cubes similar in size, all of them about the same size. And then once you've cut this all up, you're just going to want to set this aside for a moment. Then you want to grab your canned green chilies and then you're going to drain it and you're going to separate it. 6.5 ounces in one bowl, half an ounce in the other. And you'll go ahead and set these 2 aside also. Then in a large bowl, you want to add 3 cups of bread flour into a mound. And right at the top, you want to add your half a teaspoon of active dry yeast. Then around the edges of the mound, you want to add 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. And then you'll gently add your 6 ounces of cubed sharp yellow cheese cubes. You bring over your bowl with your 6.5 ounces of mild green chili and you're going to add that in, and look at how absolutely gorgeous this is looking already, and we're just getting started. It's going to be phenomenal. So then what you want to do is you want to measure out your 1.5 cups of water. You're going to warm it up in the microwave till warm, not hot, just warm to the touch for about 40 seconds, depending on your microwave. And then you're just going to add that all around the edge, right on top of that cheese. and that green chili just all the way around. What we're doing is we're gently going to incorporate the yeast. And of course, you don't want the water too hot because you don't want to kill your yeast. So you just go ahead and pour it gently around. And then you're going to use your dough whisk, or if not, then just a trusty serving fork if you don't have a dough whisk, and just gently bring the ingredients together. So now what you're looking to do is incorporate all of that liquid into the flour. Make sure it's all well absorbed. You're going to use your tool to scrape the sides of your bowl as you go along. And this is not going to take more than a minute or two, and you're going to create a beautiful shaggy dough. This is the beauty of no-knead artisan bread. There's absolutely zero kneading. This is the only effort. So now you see my dough came together, it's perfect. And now all we need to do is cover it either with plastic wrap or a lid if your bowl has a lid. And then you're gonna find a draft-free spot. I burped my bowl, of course, I don't want any air. I'm gonna find a draft-free spot, which I like to use my oven turned off. And then I set a note out so that nobody uses that oven and they know that there's something in there. And then I'm gonna set a 4-hour timer. I want to let my yeast work its magic. And because there's dairy in this bread, keep that initial rise time at 4 hours. So after the 4 hours have passed, you're going to grab your bowl. We're going to open it up and look at how gorgeous our dough is looking. It's had time to rise. It's perfect. So now is a great time to put in your Dutch oven into the oven and set your temperature to bake at 450 degrees. Yes, this bread bakes hot, but notice my Dutch oven is empty. I put it in lid and all, and I'm going to set a 45-minute timer to allow the Dutch oven itself to get really hot. Now, while that is in there getting nice and hot, I grabbed some parchment paper, I sprinkled on a little bit of bread flour, and then I just kind of smooth it out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my bowl with my beautiful dough. I'm going to bring it over, and I'm going to gently release the dough and let it fall right on top of that floured parchment, because what we're going to do now is we're going to shape our beautiful dough. And you're going to see how simple and easy this is. You're just going to grab a little flour, dust your hands, and basically all you want to do is fold this dough onto itself. So we're going to use a envelope fold or a letter fold. It's known both ways. And you're just folding one side to the center, then the other side over that. And then all you're going to do is just kind of fold the dough over itself. And then the seam is on the bottom, and look at how beautiful our dough looks. So if you were baking on the parchment, you'd be leaving this right here. You don't even have to worry about moving it. But I'm going to be baking this on a silicone sling. So I dusted my hands just a little bit, and then I'm going to transfer my dough ball onto my sling. But as I said, if you don't have one, you can leave it right on the parchment paper and use that to put your dough into your hot Dutch oven when it's ready to go. So now I've just dusted my hands a little bit more, and now I'm going to dust the top of my beautiful bread, although of course it's still dough, but it's going to be gorgeous bread. I flour the top just a little bit with the spoon and my hands, making sure it's got a beautiful round shape. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dough rise while the Dutch oven is warming. So once it's nice and floured, what you want to do is you want to take a piece of plastic wrap and you're just going to cover it up so that it doesn't dry out while your Dutch oven is heating. So I cover it up. You can leave it just like that, or you can use a dough cover or a clean kitchen towel and just cover it and let it sit while the Dutch oven is getting really hot. So now you're going to want to grab 2 slices of your extra sharp yellow cheddar cheese, and using a long thin knife, you're going to cut each slice diagonally to form 4 triangles. We're going to be topping our bread with this and that extra little bit of green chili. It's going to be delicious. So here's our green chili. We're just going to have this ready for when we're ready to top our bread. The timer on our oven is almost going to go off. It's about 5 minutes shy of going off. The Dutch oven is almost ready. And you're going to uncover your dough and you're going to flour it one more time really well, because now what we're going to do is we're going to score our bread. I'm going to be using a lame, but if you don't have a lame, you can use a sharp knife. And what you want to do is you want to cut a large plus right at the top of your dough to allow our bread to split and expand as it bakes. So carefully pull out your Dutch oven once that timer goes off. You see how hot it is? It's steaming. And then use either your parchment or your silicone sling to put it into your hot Dutch oven. Then carefully place this back in the oven covered and set a 30-minute timer. So after 30 minutes, what you're going to do is you're going to carefully bring it out. You're going to remove the lid, and look how gorgeous it's looking already. And it's only going to get more beautiful from here. So remember those 4 triangles of extra sharp yellow cheddar cheese? We're going to place those on top of our bread, and we're going to leave like a diamond space in the center. They're kind of overlapping, but we're leaving that diamond area in the center, and we're going to go ahead and sprinkle that 1/2 ounce of green chili right on top of that diamond area, on top of the cheese. We just want this to really just be the star of the show, that golden cheese and those green chilies. It's going to look absolutely beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to top it off, and then we're going to gently and carefully place this right back into the oven, uncovered this time. So what we want to do is place it back in, set a 7-minute timer. But after 7 minutes, we're not going to turn our oven off. We're going to change our oven to broil. We're going to set a 2-minute timer to allow our cheese to get nice and golden. And I like turning on the light to keep an eye on it. And then after the 2 minutes have passed, we're going to carefully bring our bread out. And look at how gorgeous our bread is looking. That cheese, the smell of the chili and cheese is insane. It's golden, it's crusty. The bread itself is crusty, and so is that delicious cheddar that we added on top. So we're going to carefully remove our bread from our hot Dutch oven, and we're going to place it onto a cooling rack, and then carefully remove either your sling or your parchment paper from underneath your bread. Yeah. There we go. And look at how gorgeous it is. Look at the crust of that bread. It is crispy and crunchy and delicious. And that cheese and chili on top. Honestly, this is probably one of the most beautiful breads I've ever baked. And you saw how easy it was. And you can bake it too. It's that easy. A handful of ingredients is all it took. A little bit of patience, no kneading, and you have a gorgeous, gorgeous green chili and cheddar bread. So now the hardest part is setting a 30-minute timer to allow this bread to cool while sitting on the cooling rack. Then you'll transfer it onto a cutting board. You don't want to do that until you've allowed the bread to cool down a bit, because you don't want it to sweat. And look at how gorgeous this bread is. I can't get enough. I don't know if I should just stare at it or eat it, but yes, of course, I'm dying to try it. So of course, I'm going to cut into it. I'm going to actually turn it this way because that edge right there is really crusty and gorgeous, and I want a piece from there. And then I'm just gently and carefully going to cut a piece off, maybe 2 pieces, to see the beautiful inside of this bread. Wow, it's so crusty and beautiful. And look at the inside of this bread. Look at that gorgeous effect I was telling you about. You see how the cheddar, because of its high fat and moisture content, melts beautifully and creates these pockets filled with cheese and green chili inside of our bread. It almost looks like a sourdough, but it took no effort, and you just let it sit there and rise for 4 hours. No kneading, no feeding. It's not tedious like a sourdough. It's just easy and gorgeous. I am obsessed with how beautiful this bread looks. The smell is even better. And the flavor, wait until you taste this. It is just such a phenomenal bread. Everyone is going to love it, and everyone's going to be stunned by how absolutely gorgeous and delicious it is. So I'm going to grab this little end piece because I absolutely love that end piece. And I'm just going to put just a touch of butter on it. The truth is it needs nothing because it's so absolutely delicious, but I'm going to go ahead and put a touch of butter on it. How cute is this butter knife? It's actually great when your butter is cold because it just kind of makes it easy to spread. And look at how absolutely beautiful this bread is looking. It's perfectly spongy on the inside, but it's golden and crusty on the outside, and it's filled with cheddar and pieces of green chili. Just absolutely phenomenal. It smells so good. I can't wait to take a bite. Honestly, such a good bread, easy to make. And delicious. This is beyond. There are no words to describe. This is absolutely phenomenal. Probably one of my favorite no-knead artisan breads. It looks gorgeous. It tastes gorgeous. Mmm. I don't even think I'm making sense. What does taste gorgeous even mean? But if it were a thing, this would be it. Filled with the green chili, the cheddar. It's just so absolutely delicious. Texturally, it's incredible. The combination of the crusty outside and that fluffy, airy inside. I cannot seem to get enough. It is so, so good. This is going to be a bread that everyone loves. So I went ahead and served myself a cup of peppermint tea that I sweetened with a touch of Ceylon and served in my beautiful Sally That Girl in the Kitchen mug that I was gifted by one of my best friends recently. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm actually going to grab this piece too. And I'm going to make this lunch because, yeah, it's that good. One piece is not enough. So how amazingly delicious does this no-knead green chili and cheddar artisan bread look? I am obsessed. This is, quite frankly, probably my favorite so far of my artisan breads because it's just so gorgeous. The addition of that extra sharp cheddar on the outside gets just absolutely golden, and it just kind of melts and makes this incredible effect on the top of the bread. And of course, those pockets inside the bread filled with cheddar and with green chili. There are no words to describe. It's just phenomenal. And it's just that beautiful effect that you get, those holes running throughout because of that moisture and fat content in the sharp cheddar cheese is absolutely perfect. Trust me. No, better yet, don't trust me. You're going to have to try to make this recipe yourself. And of course, if you've enjoyed today's recipe, don't forget to like it, to write me a sweet comment, share it with your friends. That really helps my channel grow. So thank you so much for doing that. And of course, if you're not already subscribed to Sally That Girl in the Kitchen here on YouTube, stop what you're doing, go over, subscribe, touch the little notification bell so that you get notified whenever I come up with a new, interesting, crazy idea that just absolutely works. And of course, if you're not following me on social media, you can follow Sally That Girl in the Kitchen on Facebook, Instagram, and on Pinterest. And you can find me as Sally That Girl FL on X, Snapchat, and on TikTok. And of course, be sure to follow my Amazon shop where I feature a lot of the products that I use in my videos at amazon.com/shop/Sally That Girl in the Kitchen. And of course, you can also follow me on Threads. I'm pretty much all over the place, so be sure you follow me everywhere so that you don't miss out on any of the new and exciting stuff that I'm always putting out. Once again, I just want to take a moment to thank you so, so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Sally That Girl in the Kitchen.